for today's Catalunya Grand Prix. Pole position for Fabio Quatararo. The front row men all going for the medium. Mia, Valentino Rossi and Pol Espargaro. There's a real mix, isn't there, in those top 4 rows in terms of rear tyre choice. Marquez is going medium as he launches that Repsol Honda from row 5. Nakagami are on row 6. Front row, 5 poles in a row for Fabio Quatararo, with the 2 factory Ducatis of podium last time out in Mugello with Franco Morbidelli and Maverick Vinales. Aleix Espargaro on home soil, heads row 3. Keep a close eye on Joan Mir, the world champion, with a lot of work to do from the 4th row in 10th place. Valentino Rossi, he coped with the fast-starting KTMs and Ducatis around him.
There's the world champion, Joan Mir, charger. From pit lane, Martin will start the warm-up lap and he will join the back of the grid.
And Fabio Quatararo, the world championship leader. Just under 20,000 fans then. Crowd in a MotoGP arena since Valencia 2019. And will they witness Fabio Quatararo come to Premier Class since Christian Saron back in 1988? Even this man wasn't racing then.
It would be some story, wouldn't it, if somehow he managed to get himself on the podium here today, because it's that could happen, but you never know. It is Rossi after all. Quatararo then with a 24-point lead. You could
Spanish rider on the front row of the grid, but Spain's had at least one rider on a podium here in Barcelona every year. There's 2 coming from 6. Will it be Aleix Espargaro continuing that golden run on the factory Aprilia?
The biggest question of all, catch me if you can. Can anyone stop me, is what he's thinking. Well, will be that closing stages of the race. 3 different winners, of course, in the last 3 visits. Linjabas will be hoping they can make it back-to-back wins here.
Well, he knows the way to the top step of the to go in the MotoGP race in September, and he's the big favourite here as we're about to get underway.
Here, the Monster Energy Grand Prix of Catalunya. Our eyes to the centre of the picture and the light. One, this could be perfect for him, but here comes Miller again. He's catching back up. He's going to try and outbreak him. He does.
Miller exactly where he wanted to be. It looks like Miguel Oliveira got away exceptionally well as well too. He did got the dream launch off the line, but he's been knocked back to 3rd.
That was a great move from Oliveira. Very brave indeed to go up into.
Who's had a disastrous start for him. He's losing places already. Zarco was in
wide. He's a bit messy on the exit, but what a start for the world champion.
Yeah, what happened to Pecco Bagnaia? He's like, yeah, Zarco's getting beaten up, isn't he, on this opening lap? Oliveira, he's not going to be close enough to attack inside of the Portuguese man as well.
Maverick Vinales up the inside there of Brad Binder. That's for 7th place. Astra start. He's down to 10th. Rossi, likewise, his teammate lost quite a few places.
The Italian started 11th. He's not going to be able to capitalise at all on that.
On the exit there, onto the start straight. A bit of a wobble from Miller and Oliveira, but he cannot outbreak Thriller Miller into turn 1.
What a first lap from the world champion. Oh, that's tight there. Place and hounding Quatararo through turn 3.
Great start for Catalunya as well. He's up to 11th after. So there is Maverick Vinales, the Monster Energy Yamaha rider, behind Joan Zarco. Wide there from Miller. That allows him to turn 5 just to hold on to P2.
Yeah, and Quatararo will hear that factory. And now he's going to lose positions to Mir and Aleix Espargaro. Just getting a little bit impatient there on Miller, wasn't he? Through turn.
Different manufacturers here inside the top 5. Quatararo drops down to 5th. It's Oliveira that leads.
He's had a couple of close looks up the inside of the Spanish man ahead of him, but no way through at the moment. Oliveira then still leads as they're bringing on to the 1 kilometre start-finish straight. Oliveira on the KTM from Miller, Mia, then Aleix Espargaro to get Miller at turn 7.
Aleix Espargaro is the fastest rider on circuit on his Aprilia RSGP in 4th place.
Here, and he needed to after a really poor first lap. He's the fastest man on circuit by a mile, a 40 quicker than anybody else on the circuit. So Bagnaia starting to recover that early lost ground.
Miller late on the brake on the start-finish straight.
Yeah, that was the he's got it back. He's got it back at turn 5. So using the better braking and turn. He made the mistake on the previous lap, getting up the inside of Miller. That cost him places to Aleix Espargaro and Mir.
This is himself. Then it was scrappy on exit. He went in the green and he lost 2 places, lost all of his momentum. So he's got more work.
Marquez to come through.
Me!
And he got railroaded there by Brad Binder.
Well, he came back on.
Everybody fighting for the same piece of tarmac. 2 bikes into one just doesn't work out. You can see Vinales had a big look over his shoulder. Can Zarco get in Quatararo's slipstream and blitz him on the start-finish straight yet again, because he did previous 40.594 from the Portuguese man. That was 3/10 quicker than Miller on that last lap.
On board with the world champion Miguel Oliveira then. So far so good. He's got brilliant rhythm. definitely got the pace to break away.
Crucial.
Bagnaia through goes Brad Binder. What a start this has been for Marc Marquez as well. He's closing in on this group. Look at the number 9.
From Marc Marquez, we knew he was going to be aggressive, didn't we? Quatararo's got to find a couple of tenths to get back on par with Joan Mir. Brilliant ride at the moment by the man we're looking at here in Barcelona. He's going through on Miller at turn 10.
On the cutback though, Miller comes back through.
He's desperate to get through here on Miller because he knows he's got nothing for the Ducati on that start-finish straight. Couldn't be slipstreamed by Miller, but not the case, and Aprilia will never in a million years out-drag a Ducati.
It's in the fastest lap of the race for good measure as well. On the approach to turn 1, Joan Mir uses the slipstream of the Aprilia in Quatararo. Marquez is now up to 6th. This is looking a little bit like the old Marc Marquez again.
The issues with front tyre pressure or temperature. Quattararo gets through on Aleix Espargaro into turn 4. Oliveira.
Quattararo has decided it's time to move.
Yeah, Oliveira is where Quattararo thought he would be
throughout the race. Quattararo now desperately trying to find a way through on Joan Mir. There's the lead from the helicopter. Crashed out. The difficult start to 2021 unfortunately continues. There's no home glory for Pop.
Through turn number 11, there was no way through.
Top 10 have all just broken away slightly from Alex Marquez. It's not got any better for Valentino Rossi either. He's outside the points at the moment. He's one place.
1-3. He was the slowest man on the circuit. I don't know if something happened to Rossi on that lap number 4.
And Marc Marquez, Aleix Espargaro running into some drama there. Maybe just out breaking himself into turn 1.
Isn't it? The Marquez that came to the start of 2020 in Jerez before he suffered that horrendous right humerus up through turn number 4.
And back through goes Aleix Espargaro as well. Some fantastic battle.
Viñales, Binder and Bagnaia. This is more Moto3 than MotoGP. The problem is, while they're engaging in a prop
drop behind Mir and Quattararo, what has happened to the Aussie? The lead now for Oliveira is a second. Trucci, who's just gone out.
Fast old crash at turn 9. Iker went down there in Q1 hard yesterday. Kiss for company. Aleix Espargaro will know that quartet ahead of him have started. Well, a crash at turn 9 is not going to help his cause, unfortunately.
Fastest lap of the race, Fabio Quattararo, as we look, moves up 1 spot into 6th.
Yeah, I mean, Miller was a full second slower than Quattararo. Quattararo then now makes pretty light work of Joan Mir.
Quattararo has had so far. Now he's got some clear air. He'll probably try and just get into those 139.
He was only a tenth quicker than Oliveira on that last lap, was Fabio Quattararo, but now he hasn't got to worry about finding a way.
Helicopter view of the battle for seconds. What happened to Jack Miller? So, folks, 6 different manufacturers inside the top 7. That's excellent. At the moment, I'm sure, are pretty happy with what they're seeing. Oliveira it is that leads the gap.
As though, Steve, that KTM, Oliveira was able to take 3 tenths out of Quattararo in sectors 1 and 2, and then Quattararo. So he was again just not quite as quick as Quattararo, but very, very close.
Now, further back through the order, Zarco's still 5th behind Miller, then it's a later top 10. That's the group that you can see, and then further back there, Iker Lecuona leads the second pack. Franco Morbidelli, no, he's got.
Yeah, just not at the races at the moment. Morbidelli, I mean, he's about half a second slower on that last lap than this man.
Ahead of this man. Number 12, you can see Maverick Viñales, then it's Brad Binder, who's the likes of Viñales and Marc Marquez, and then Bagnaia behind them. The gap came down.
Made an overtake. Oh, somebody's down there at turn 10. There's a faller at turn 10.
It's Marc Marquez, it is. World champion has crashed out. Good spot there, Matt. But Marc, unfortunately, the good news is he's absolutely...
He's never ever had 3 DNFs in a row in his career, Steve. An unwanted milestone then. Score some vital World Championship points into turn 10. Well, he got away with it 2 years ago when Jorge Lorenzo was all of his own doing, though, this time. Marc Marquez down and out again.
First rider into the 130. It was a shortcut at turns 1 and 2. That means he would have just outbraked himself and decided to pump it through. But Zarco then, the fastest man on circuit at the moment, in 5th.
Can you believe it? He was looking good for a top 6 challenge here today. Just wonder whether he could see Zarco just starting to really cut.
Binder and Pecco Bagnaia at this stage just struggling to maintain the pace of Espargaro and Viñales ahead of him, but a real mixed bag in terms of rear tyres, so you can't read too much into it at this early stage.
Full of laps, Quattararo was struggling to do 42s. The deviation between his lap times over the full race distance will change. Zarco is not going to win the game of braking there against Miller down into the first corner.
forward with Zarco yet again in 5th place. The gap at the front now for Miguel Oliveira is
just backing off his pace a little bit here, just to be wary about tyre life. The balance, as we've talked, key factor here in Barcelona, particularly on the right-hand side of your tyre. The long, fast-sweeping rights at the start of the lap.
Miguel Oliveira on the factory KTM leading here in Barcelona. What a week it has been. So second to Fabio Quatararo, who's just in a world of his own. Can he?
Well, the only differential between the two of them in terms of tyres is Oliveira's got the hard front tyre, bringing confidence and feedback from the front tyre, and that's where Fabio Quattararo's so good. Anywhere he wants, he's going to try and pick up some slipstream here behind the very rapid RC16. Certainly, he's going to have another long lap penalty for not complying with the law.
For Taka Nakagami, and another disappointing weekend for the Japanese rider. So then at the front of this one, on board now with Fabio Quattararo. Acting 2, is it already tyre conservation mode for Mir? Because he got such a great start. He's
Zarco now in 5th place.
Marc Marquez getting a lift from the Leopard Honda.
There's 3 DNFs in a row for the first time in his career. So easily done here into turn 10. Not even Marc Marquez could defy
somebody else gone down.
Yeah,
we can hear a crash in our headphones.
There has.
The Espargaro boys have both crashed out here.
I was just wondering for how much longer a race could start. Turn 10's claimed another victim then. It's already taken Marc Marquez out of the race, and now it takes and Pecco Bagnaia
picks off Brad Binder. Vinales is lapping very quickly, as quick as they'll do. So, as it stands, Quatararo would take a 33-point lead, in well aware here that he doesn't want to use too much tyre up, but he's going through on turn 5.
You can see edge grip than Oliveira. He was able to run the tyre to line, and then there was just enough of a gap there to fire up the inside, quickly retaliate, because normally so far this year, bar the arm pump issue in Jerez, of course, from Fabio Quatararo.
Can he now then use the power of that KTM, which does have a slight edge in top speed? He's now going to try, we'll keep our eyes peeled on it. Alex Rins is watching on, his crew chief Manu there as well. As we cross the line, we'll be halfway over Miguel Oliveira, and that may well be enough for him not to be slipstreamed.
It's the corner speed. It's the corner speed. No, he can't. It was just enough of a gap there that Quatararo got. He knew he had to do it, that Quatararo. He's normally so good at it. He did it last time out in Mugello against Zarco, passed him on turn, try and do the same here to Oliveira.
Simon, your thoughts on the midway point of this Catalan Grand Prix?
Yeah, every time I was, even in Moto2 and again today, is how well he handles pressure. You know, he's around him. The other thing to consider is he's the only man in this front group, as you pointed out, Steve, and I want to know if that will come into play at the end. Have enough edge grip, they couldn't do the lap times, but the KTM boys are. Maybe it'll work.
Things can change quickly.
Now, Oliveira's a little bit closer on this circuit than he was previously to Quattaro. Hole in the air for the KTM man here. Now then, Oliveira's got the slipstream. Can he get up the inside in the braking zone?
Fantastic stuff. This is more of a race than Fabio Quatararo was expecting. Fabio Quatararo around turn 3 on the approach to turn 4. Will it be a little look into turn?
Be close enough this time around to lunge up the inside of Oliveira down the hill.
Zarco's through on Jack Miller. Would be for Miguel Oliveira, were he able to pull it off.
Ginormous feather in his cap, wouldn't it be? Espargaro family. It won't be a happy Sunday evening for the Espargaro boys, but he was a long way further around the corner than Marc Marquez was when his front tyre cried no more. He was Aleix Espargaro knows another top 6 opportunity slips through his fingers, sadly.
Himself a couple of tenths advantage as they make their way down onto the start-finish straight. These are the 5 on screen with 10.
He's super intelligent, super smart, they all are. But Miguel Oliveira, he marries
right in front of Joan Zarco, Matt, Joan Mir. That start was absolutely
and we're getting to the phase of the Grand Prix here last September, Steve, where Mir was brilliant. He was here. Mir was having tyre problems. His problems, though, were a lot less than some of the other guys, because that's his had grip issues himself. They just weren't quite as severe as the Yamahas and Ducatis around him.
On Mir, not close enough. Lecuona's doing a fantastic job. Ika Lecuona, shout out to him after the 2 crashes. Delhi cannot get things going. Bastianini is 11th. Alex Marquez doing a great job, 12th ahead of Rossi.
He's in 2nd place. Looking back from the world champion Suzuki X-Star machine briefly to Joan Zarco. Now then, hot gear in 6, and he just eases on by, blitzes Joan Mir's factory Suzuki. That's got to be He'd have known it was coming, and there's nothing he could do about it whatsoever.
Interesting lead to try and make life a bit more difficult for Johan Zarco, but there was no stopping the Bologna bullet powering past.
On that last lap, just over 3/10 they are split between the two. And there's Franco Morbidelli. Dry race appearances.
Miller's gone through on Joan Mir now as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mir's going the wrong conundrum. How do you get back on two super fast Ducatis?
One rider who's done an incredible job the last couple of laps. 6-7 for the last 4 or 5 laps. There he is.
Yeah,
he's back with this group now.
Just found it behind him.
This is fascinating, Matt. This is not the race we expected to unfold. Luckily, oh, Rossi's crashed. Rossi has crashed out here, and the disappointing season. He lost that.
Just the ride height device, guys.
The ride height device has gone in, but Rossi is out. Unfortunately, stat sheet not looking too rosy at the map with 8 laps to go, because what is it going to be in a couple of laps' time, where really we have no idea.
Or Vinales. I mean, Maverick Vinales has had stunning rhythm, as Steve mentioned. I mean, look at that compared to the Suzuki man.
Is Mir in more trouble than we think, or has he got something? Gap from Miguel Oliveira and Quatararo to the 2 Ducatis is 1.3 seconds now.
Vinales, big time. Not going to be easy to find a way through on Mir. Zarco and Miller ahead of him, but he still leads. We're just about to chalk off lap number 17 here. Yep. In the slipstream behind the factory Suzuki of Joan Mir, who's so good on the brakes down at the first corner. Vinales just down, Steve. Oh. An unlucky turn 13 for him. We were just saying he was on course for one of it.
Good to see that he's relatively okay. So are these two now starting to really show their class with 7 laps to go. Less. Still Bagnaia and Binder in 7th and 8th. They can't quite get close.
Like, it's the battle between these two men. Oliveira versus Quatararo. Potent combination, a chance to give him the opportunity to win or on the podium here on Sunday. That's exactly as it's panned out. Turn 10.
The lap times are dropping. There's 4 groups of 2 on screen at the moment.
Third place.
Onto the start-finish straight then. In between Miguel Oliveira on the KTM and Fabio Quatararo on the Yamaha.
Yeah, Mir is struggling. There's no opportunity for Vinales to get through on the Suzuki man in the braking zone for the first.
On the factory Ducati.
40.9 from Oliveira on that last lap. That's his slowest lap, and that gap's down to now just over 2/10 as we're on turn 5, lap 19.
Help certainly get it into a race-winning machine. Miguel knows all about that. Twice a winner himself already, of course. Last year with Brad Binder in Brno.
Well, there might be a bit of payback coming here. He'd love to exact a bit of revenge on that defeat. He took his first ever Grand Prix P.
Now, these are the tyres of Fabio Quatararo, who I can tell you, there's a lot of front hard rear tyre. We're entering that stage of unknown now, and across the line, I can tell you, Zarco.
By a whisker. Previous lap was a 40.9, that last lap was a 40.8. Quatararo himself.
Intriguing race here in the Grand Prix of Catalunya. Films the fortunes of the Portuguese rider, who up until Italy hadn't even got in the top 10.
18-wheeler at the moment, isn't he?
Very nervous looking. Pit Byra with 5 laps remaining. Quatararo and his fellow Frenchman.
Makes you wonder, Steve, these kind of performances from Miguel Oliveira. They've been busy in the transfer contract until the end of 2024. I don't think it's going to be too long before they re-up him with Oliveira.
Just further back there, you can
and
see
Miguel is earning a few more dollars in that deal.
Bagnaia, because he's got rhythm to potentially close up on Mir and Vinales.
And it's the crucial phase of it, where the tyres are going to be deteriorating at a fairly rapid rate. You can't.
Bagnaia, he needed to do that about 4 or 5 laps ago. Jack Miller was the fastest of the top 4 last time around. Do not discount.
It's taken 21 laps to do it. That's how good he's been in terms of speed and consistency. And to show him that front wheel, look at that consistency from Oliveira. Stunning. How many 40-point...
Quatararo struggling to stay with him at the moment. Quatararo not able to sort of get into that same rhythm he had yesterday in free practice. Yeah, he's in trouble. Zarco's right on top of him now.
Can you believe this? Fabio Quatararo may well lose the podium. Given here for the World Championship leader, and of course Johan Zarco knows this is clawing back some ground in the championship. As big risks here in this last sector. Just make sure you run the lines, hit your braking markers and stay to 6th gear. Reel in that factory Yamaha ahead of him. Quatararo's got big bother here.
Yeah, there we go. 5 for Fabio Quatararo. He's going to try. Oh, he's almost lost the front there, and he's shaking his head. Bookie's favourite, Fabio Quatararo, doesn't look like he's winning the Catalan Grand Prix.
On that high-speed hand side of Quattararo's front tyre, and in that right-hand first corner, the front just tucked from right underneath him.
In the latter stages of this race, Jack Miller will do the same thing, surely, here, as Johann Zarco here at Quatararo. This was earlier on. See, a bit uncomfortable. He's got his leathers open there. What's going? Has got some sort of issues. He's taking his chest protector out there of his leathers.
Guys, is that
Necklace and his bare chest.
What's going on? What's happened to the leathers here? And the trouble is,
can you believe it? I mean, he had his arm pump issues in Jerez.
I've never seen anything like that. There's Miller then up the inside. It will be a block pass. He will move up into third place. And the man who was favoured. What has happened to the leathers of Fabio Quatararo? Answers on a postcard, please.
Combination of the leathers and the fading front tyre grip, whatever it is, that's his biggest problem. He's desperately trying
in terms of this either, because it's not safe, is it? Let's be honest.
No.
I don't know whether there's any. I honestly think, Matt, that Fabio Quatararo, he's not completely done. He's not got this in the bag just yet. We're getting behind you, ladies and gentlemen, that Johann Zarco has not won a MotoGP race. This is 73rd attempt. Great speed. They drop down the hill into the last couple of corners. We're going to start the last lap. There's half a second between Miguel Oliveira.
Will he be black flagged? Will there be a DQ? It's all down to the last lap then. Oliveira, final place on the podium.
Johann Zarco. Will we be closing Miguel Oliveira?
Yeah, and how ironic this would be if Zarco beats the factory KTM. RC16 for love nor money, could he? A couple of years ago when he left KTM halfway through a 2-year contract. With the moment of his MotoGP career right now, what is the gap in the second sector? It's down to under 4 tenths.
This is where we've got to keep an eye on it then, on the approach to turn 10. He doesn't look like he's close enough right now, Johann Zarco.
Quatararo, no he can't. Miguel Oliveira, normally in these situations, mentally is like granite. Got a 3-second penalty. His podium has gone.
The checkered flag is out, and it looks like this one is Miguel Oliveira's. Johann is. It will be close across the line, but Miguel Oliveira wins on the factory KTM here. He finished third with a penalty. Miller moves up 1 spot. But take a bow, Miguel Oliveira.
But he will not be on the podium. A 3-second penalty coming the way of the Frenchman. He's lost crucial world championship GP podiums, his 8th runner-up spot. But Miguel Oliveira, absolutely brilliant. His front tyre we saw was graining badly as well. Dani Pedrosa, so much credit needs to go.
This is how it stands then. The gap at the top has been cut. Incredible. I don't think that's right. That championship standings, that's wrong. Yeah. That graphic is wrong. He was uncomfortable. I mean, pick the bones out of that. Well, one thing we can say is MotoGP, people would have put their house on Quatararo, not just winning this, but winning it by some margin this morning.
It's Jack Miller's on the podium. Miguel Oliveira, that was an awesome job by him.
Right, let's see here. I mean, he had little option but to do that, really, but ultimately that's a mystery as well. I don't think anyone really knows what's gone on there. They look completely clear. You've got to take your hat off to this young man who said at the start of the year, I can be the world. They had to wait their time. They had to wait their time to get that chassis. What a job. Fond memories, of course, 9 years ago in Moto3. He goes over to the Miguel Oliveira fan club. Absolutely over the moon. What a week it's been for Miguel. Thank you, Simon.
Mike, how are you feeling about that?
I think that race from the beginning to the end, you know, Fabio was pushing so hard and
holds it together and never puts a foot wrong.
I mean, he did a great race. It was not easy, I think, to manage through all the race distance, but he did it great, and yeah, thanks.
Yeah, huge congratulations, and it is a massive statement, 45 points we were convinced would come back at the end of the race, but didn't. He wasn't able to mount a challenge to the top. Quatararo down to 4th is 17. It's been cut down to now between Quatararo and Zarco.
And young man Miguel Oliveira, absolutely brilliant. A good race as well, very good race by Maverick, really strong pace, and we thought he was going to figure in the podium battle as well. But it's a welcome return.
Important qualifying to becoming in MotoGP in the early stages of the races.
Can you believe the transformation now in 7 Grand Prix in 2021? 45 of them in the last 7 days.
You have to take your hat off to him as well. One of the most experienced riders in the field, doing his job. Celebrate MotoGP victory, and it has come in the hands of Mount Miguel.
They might be suggesting a late start for the test tomorrow for Miguel Oliveira. He does like to quaff a few shots.